What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. The Freight Coach Morning Show coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down 3 transportation industry articles and provide a different perspective to some of the headlines that are out there. Again, thank you all for joining me. And we are, before I jump in, though, I got to give a shout out to a couple of companies that have supported me and are helping me keep the lights on here. And the first one comes from my friends over at Bitfreighter. You guys, the guys at Bitfreighter are on a mission to connect the logistics industry with a flat fee for unlimited EDI messaging. Carriers and brokers alike, if you're still paying EDI character charges on transaction-based fees with setup costs, you are costing yourself money. You are paying EDI fees for the loads you decline. These guys have flipped the EDI pricing model upside down. With their unlimited EDI messaging pricing and their managed EDI services, EDI is no longer an expensive and unattainable and painful process. Bitfreighter's managed EDI platform is fully integrated with TMS providers like PCS, DAT Keypoint, Revenova, and EasyLoader to provide a seamless transition for all of your EDI needs. Take back full control of your EDI by having full access and insight into your connections and data. If you're not already looking in ways to make your company more efficient and cost-effective, you now have a platform that will help you scale your connections without a revenue drain. Utilize Bitfreighter. If you're ready to learn more, visit www.bitfreighter.com to request a demo today and see if your TMS is one of the 9 they have full integrations with. Do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Finally able to get on a live. Scott, yeah, what's up, brother? Good morning, Scott. Freight Sensei, you guys got to hit him up. He is a phenomenal follow out there. Also, VHub, you guys, they're big supporters of the show. They're making this possible. They're, great partners, and they believe in the mission that I'm on right now. And you guys, with their, we're going to do that trailer report. Asset reutilization is the wave of the future for freight and brokers. You guys, especially right now, when a lot of when equipment costs are at, a sky high and somebody's out there, they might be a power only. Heck, I was just going back and forth with somebody this morning on social media, a guy who just got into the industry and he was looking for freight out there. And, when utilizing something like VHub, they can help out these power only carriers out there. So you guys can see at the bottom, the ticker that I have going on right now, they have round trip power only options available on the VHub app. And what it is they're available in Toronto, Ontario, and they're going down to Chicago, Illinois. And then you would grab another trailer out of Wilmington, Illinois, and go up to Mississauga, Ontario, which is also in the GTA. And, for me, you guys, it's all about how are we going to provide continual solutions to our customers? And, frankly, as we're out there building up our, trailer pool capacity is vital, especially now in any market, especially markets that change. You need a solution. Solutions are the only thing that are going to keep you in business and keep you going out there. So check them out, you guys. And then also they have long-term rentals available as well out in Toronto, Ontario. And again, check these guys out. Reach out to my friend Xavier Campos. He's my point of contact over there. He can help you guys out with all of these needs. And then furthermore, if you're a US-based carrier and you like running up into Canada, you can get paid to reposition. All right. Asset reutilization is where it's at, man. You can get paid out there to grab them. They have some trailers available right now in Glade Spring, Virginia, looking to go up to Vancouver, BC area, Edmonton, Alberta, as well as Rosser, Manitoba, which is just outside of Winnipeg. Check it out, you guys. There's a way for us to get up there and provide additional solutions to our customers in any freight market. That's what it's all about. All right, Sonny. Yeah, that's my orange shirt, brother. Orange shirt gang is a thing now, you guys. It is a thing. That's what we need. We got the orange shirt gang coming on. Jeremy, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much for joining. All right, you guys, this is a just national average on the fuel report out there. It's $5.16 a gallon this week. And it is up $2.03 a gallon year over year right now. Check out EIA.gov. All right, that's where I get all my fuel information out there. And then also, this is day 14 of the show, which is phenomenal. But it's also coincidentally day 14 of the Freight Coach tracker of the fact that there are still parking issues in this industry, as well as facilities that are out there that are not allowing drivers to use the restroom and some other stuff too. I saw my friend Matt Laird posted something this morning on social media about a sign out there prohibiting drivers to do certain things at a facility. And Yeah, it's wild. It's wild out there, but I'm not going to let this shit die out. I'm going to come out here and fight for this every single day because we need change, and I'm going to get into some of these articles today that are, we're going to go through some of this stuff about the industry as a whole and what we can do overall here because that's going to be, progress. That's what we're all about. All right, we're here about progress, moving the industry forward. We're here about keeping people in business and navigating through the challenges of this industry because this industry isn't easy. The realities is it's extremely difficult. Pricing, everything else, market shifts, it's all part of it though. So it's like our goal here with what we're doing is to keep people in business, to help people navigate through the market shifts. All right, that's what we're doing. Also, sorry, I had to get a drink of my coffee there. International Road Check. All right. It's in just almost 3 weeks. May 17th through the 19th is International Road Check. What does that do? All right. Like this year, though. So the first article it's going to be kind of a combo here. The first article, it's directly from the CSVA's website, csva.org. That's the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance. It's a 72-hour road check for high visibility, high volume commercial vehicle inspections and enforcement initiative, commercial motor vehicles. And this is all in North America. All right. This is Canada, Mexico, and the United States. They focus on a specific aspect of the roadside inspection, though. This year, the focus is on wheel ends. All right. Wheel end components support the heavy loads carried by commercial vehicles, maintain stability and control, and are critical for braking. Violations involving wheel end components historically account for about 1/4 of the vehicle out of service violations discovered during International Road Check. And during it, the inspections examine large trucks and motor coaches and they check their credentials and everything else out there. Let's see if the vehicle passes a North American standard level 1 or level 4, inspection without any critical vehicle inspection violations. They receive a CSVA decal. Again, this happens every single year. It didn't back in COVID, like they actually stopped it for a little bit out there. But this is a thing every single year, and this is another thing that affects capacity that's out there. So this is the information that you need to bring to your customers, though, especially now when there are market shifts. In any market, you guys, this is information that shippers need to know about. And, for me, it's like, what can we do to help progress, help bring this to their attention? Because, frankly, I see both sides of it because I've had some carriers that I've worked with in the past that they were great carriers. They never had any breakdowns, never had any service issues, anything, but they're like, that's the week we take off in the year because I just don't want to be messed with. It's like, my stuff is up and running. I just don't want to be messed with. But I also see the other side of it as well. It's like, all right, well, is it really up and running? But again, it needs to happen every single year. They do this, bring this to your customer though, so there is no disruption in shipping and everything else. Like this might be an opportunity where I've had some customers who get it out heavy or on that Friday previously, or they wait until Wednesday, the last day, to get their shipments picked up for the week. Again, there's ways around it. And like that doesn't work with the high volume shippers who are obviously moving 50, 60, 75, 100, whatever loads a day. But it's another way for you to bring information to your customers. That's what we need. We need to be a resource that's out there. Matt Laird, he's in the audience. Matt, that picture you posted this morning. Dude, it's insane out there. But this article was, this first one was on ttnews.com. Again, I like to cite all my sources out there. I post all this stuff out there, the links, so you guys can check these articles out yourself. Again, read them up, read up on the industry, provide your own perspective. That's what it's all about. My friend Andrew Teal, who's in the audience here, he sent this over to me earlier today, and I'm glad he did because it kind of tied in with the FMCSA, the International Road Check. And this is from ttnews.com. Headline: FMCSA issues notice of intent to require speed limiters on heavy trucks. On April 27th, an issued a notice of intent to move forward with rulemaking to require the use of speed limiters for commercial vehicles. The notice, which does not specify a specific speed, is a follow-up to a September 7th, 2016, shows how fast everything works in the government, joint proposal by the FMCSA and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The notice of intent provides a series of questions to gather information and data to assist FMCSA in drafting a supplemental notice of proposed rulemaking. The supplemental rule would propose requiring interstate motor carriers that currently operate CMVs with electronic engine control units to set a maximum speed to determine through the rulemaking process. After reviewing the public comments on the notice of intent, the future SNPRM will present a proposed regulatory text, estimated costs and safety benefits using the speed limiters. So let's see. I'm not a fan of government control. I'm not a fan of government overreach, but I am a fan of safety. And what it says later on in the article is that they're going to be doing a ton of research on this. They're going to be, like the way that the government works is, so they got to wait until like September essentially of this year, I think is what it says in the article, that they're going to go over this and talk about this. And it was what we were talking about the other day when Adam Wingfield was on Monday about how some of the larger fleets that are out there on the road, they govern their trucks at, I think it was like 62 or 65 miles an hour. And my friend Andrew Teal in the audience, me and him were going back and forth this morning. And Matt Laird, I know you're out. Hell, are you still on the road right now? Or are you back home? And but we were talking about the fuel savings that can come with it if you don't run your truck over 65 miles an hour. And Adam Wingfield and I were talking about that on Monday. And especially right now, with fuel being as expensive as it is, I think this is something that carriers could look into. Again, I'm not telling you how to run your business or anything like that, but the data that, because Andrew Teal was out with one of his carrier friends out there, they saved like $3,000 in a month on fuel just by not letting it go over 65 miles an hour. So, I mean, think about that. Like right now, especially, it's like, how do you combat rising rising equipment costs right now? If you're a small business out there, this is a way to look into that. Cause I mean, $3,000 a month, that's $36,000 a year. Hell, that could literally cover and get your truck paid off in like 4 years, especially if you're buying $100,000 used truck right now, or whatever that is up to. So it's like that can cover it just by governing your engine at 65 or being aware of it and having your driver run it at 65 miles an hour. I mean, that's huge savings out there. So not only does that help save on fuel, but you can use that additional capital to pay off your loan and everything else, or hell, maybe just pay it down significantly or pay it off entirely. Because that's just when these markets contract like this, and when you see that out there, and if you are reliant on the spot market or whatever you are, this helps you remain competitive, obviously by not having any overhead, but still this is a pathway to look into these alternative solutions out there to where you can lower your overhead of your fuel, and you can use those additional resources to pay down your debts, and then because to me, it's like, how do we look at this from a long-term thing? Like, again, I'm not a mechanic or anything like that. I am just, trying to bring some information and help you guys provide out there. But I think like that's a significant thing, especially if you're running 10 trucks, or 20 trucks or whatever, which is like 97% of the trucks on the road right now. And if you're looking at it, like, you got to look at it from that perspective. Again, I'm not a fan of like them telling us what to do, but I see a lot of benefit here is taking this, looking into the governing of your, or else at least holding your drivers not to drive over 65 miles an hour. And then furthermore, like it was, how many accidents were there that was tied to speed? I'm going to pull this up. There was like, 900 fatal crashes. In 2019 alone, there were nearly 900 fatal crashes in areas with posted speed limits of 70 miles an hour. So I mean, that's a significant thing. And yeah, again, I think it's a good proposal. I think it's a good way to look into it. And again, I think like this is information that carriers can use today, especially with combating rising fuel costs and everything else. And then furthermore, I think that to kind of tie in for the international road check that we're talking about, and knowing that brakes and wheel ends are going to be a part of it, set up your PM right now. Get your preventative maintenance done right now. Invest in that so you don't lose any days, because not only is it a fine that you're going to get from the DOT, but then you're going to have to make the repairs anyway. So I would do it now. And then hell, we all know what happens in DOT inspection week. At least I know as a broker, generally the fucking rates start to increase. So if you're out there and driving during that week, you can make some serious fucking coin. Let's see. Jeremy Reed, who needs brakes? Jesus, get off the sidewalk. That's funny, man. That is funny. uh, that is funny. Scott, let's see, like what Adam mentioned, once a week, check your tire pressure well. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, those pre-trips and post-trips. I got a guy coming out who's going to be on my podcast here next week on his episode where we talked about that. We talked about the preventative maintenance, and that was one thing. So with my dad being a small business owner for as long as he was, and being a truck driver for as long as he was, I mean, that was one thing that he taught me is it's all about the light maintenance. Changing your fluids, checking your tires, replacing your tires, doing the little things. That is what kept the longevity of his truck running. I mean, he did all of his own repairs. I'll throw that out there for the most part, outside of any complex engine issues. But that was what it was all about. It was doing those little repairs consistently. It's the same thing with your vehicle right now. You can't run your car to fucking 15,000 miles before you get an oil change. So again, I think it's just one of those things. Like, it's just doing those little things. That's what's going to keep you rolling in any market that's out there. Again, that was from the FMCSA, the ttnews.com. FMCSA issues notice of intent to require speed limiters on heavy trucks. Again, I think it can be a good thing as long as it's utilized properly and we can actually show the benefits, and especially with those cost savings that can be associated with it. Obviously, the less fuel you burn, the slower you're going, I guess, around that. It's probably going to have less wear and tear on your brakes and everything else. Again, I'm not a mechanic, but I think that that's something to look at it of an overall cost savings perspective and on not just the fuel burn and everything else. So check that article out. And then the other one, if you guys want to know more about the CVSA, the inspection week, it's cvsa.org. Check it out. It's 2022 road check. Yeah, definitely Andrew Teal. Much cheaper to maintain than repair. All right. Second article is from Fleet Owner, fleetowner.com. I actually got two of them from here today. I found a couple of good articles about there. This one is carriers optimistic about demand survey finds. Bloomberg/truckstop.com poll sampled 126 specialty carriers and found growth expectations despite obstacles such as high fuel prices. Let me see. Commercial carriers are optimistic about growth in volume and rates this year, despite rising fuel and equipment costs that are squeezing profitability. According to the latest Bloomberg truckstop.com survey, which polled owner operators and small fleets, businesses or bullishness has stayed at a historical high for carriers despite recent spot market volatility, said Lee Klaskow, senior freight transportation and logistics analyst at Bloomberg. The past 3 months have been a tale of haves and have-nots when it comes to volume growth. Load growth could trend higher sequentially into May, providing some support to spot rates. The survey shows that owner-operators remain optimistic about demand, with 72% of the respondents expecting load growth over the next 6 months versus 71% in the fourth quarter of 2021 and Q1 of last year. So a 1% increase out there on that. Temperature-controlled carriers, though, were the most optimistic, with 77% expecting higher volumes, followed by 74% of flatbed carriers who will benefit from a strong housing market. Let's see. Fewer carriers are optimistic when looking at rates, though, according to the survey. About 55% of the respondents expect spot rates, excluding fuel surcharges, to rise in the next 6 months versus 59% in Q4 of 21. And about 14% of carriers expect rates to decline over the next 3 months, in line with historical averages. Only 2% of truckers who were polled expect rates to drop quickly this year, and another 32% expect them to moderately slow. Yeah. So, again, it touches on fuel in this as well. And that is the price, rose 5.9 cents up to $5.16 a gallon. Diesel has eased a bit, and carriers polled in this survey remain relatively positive, despite the headwinds facing the industry from rising fuel and equipment costs. And that was from Kendra Tucker, the CEO over at truckstop.com. And again, it sampled 126 dry van, flatbed, and temperature controlled and specialized carriers. One of the respondents, 60%, operate just one tractor. So that was from fleetowner.com, and that was a direct poll from carriers through Bloomberg and Truckstop about their optimism about demand in the rest of this year here. I'm assuming this is Matt Fink or Todd Waldron, because you guys haven't updated your security things. But do I see a lack of the preventative maintenance and carriers delaying maintenance due to parts shortages affecting capacity in a way that we might legitimately feel? I don't know if I can't accurately answer that to be honest with you, if that's going to have a negative effect on it. But I also think that there is, that's a good question for Matt Leffler, actually, because he's got a ton of experience out there on the maintenance side of things, as well as my friend JD Redmond. He's been on maintenance for a long time as well. I don't know if it's due to parts. Nick Lester. Okay, sorry. It just comes across as LinkedIn user. I don't know if you can see that on my part. When it comes down to it, with parts increasing and everything else, I think it's just in my opinion, when it comes down to it with preventative maintenance, I don't know if there's a heavy emphasis on it. It's just like with cars. I mean, I know not everybody was shown to, or, have the importance of doing light maintenance on your vehicles consistently. I don't know. I can't accurately answer that. I think that a lot of things can affect capacity, though. It's just, but it's just like with this poll too, about demand and everything else and the markets. You guys, the markets are going to operate in the way that they do every year. I mean, I've literally been I brokered for over a decade, and there's been market shifts in something that has happened that has constrained capacity in a lot of times. And I just brought this up on, I think it was Tuesday's show about it, that, generally what happens out there is it's going to lead to a bunch of mini bids. That's going to happen. It was just a couple of, I think it was a couple of years ago. I want to say it was like 16 or 17 or something like that, where, I mean, all of my RFP customers rebid like 3 times that year. And I've heard from some of my friends in the industry this year that they've already rebid. Like the award was finished, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, hey, actually, we're going to rebid. So again, the fact of the matter is shit's going to change all the time in trucking. All right. Things are going to change. There's going to be a lot of stuff out there that happens, but what can't change? We got to show up, right? We got to execute. We got to find a solution, because there is a solution to any market that's out there. No matter what, there is a solution to every market shift, if spot markets are down or up, or contracts are down or up, or whatever that is, there's a solution out there if you want to find it. It was, I mean, how many times I've heard that in my career that, oh, the market's going to shift. All right, then, oh shit, we got to hit reset. No, you don't. You have to figure out a solution. I'll use myself as an example here. I literally filed for my business license on April 27th of 2020. 99% of the people told me, why are you going into business for yourself right now? It's the fucking pandemic. Shit happens. All right. That's just what happens. All right. Shit is going to go wrong. Expect it to go wrong, but expect the fact that you have to be decisive and you have to find a solution. All right. Business is hard. Trucking is hard. Everything is hard. All right. You can let all of this shit put you out of business if you allow it to, or you can start looking at it from a different perspective. What can I do to make this work? All right. If you're out there, you want to be a game changer with some of your shippers, bring the market shift to them. We see data, right? We see lanes. We see how spot market rates are affected throughout there on a day-to-day basis, especially if you're hitting rinse and repeat every fucking morning to cover your freight. You see those live rates every single day. When it's starting to drop. So instead of saying, I'm going to bank $1,000 or $500 on this load, which again, I love making money, but we need to look at it from the long-term perspective here, you guys, is take that information to your customer, because you got to keep the freight, right? I mean, how exhausting is it to reset your book of business every 3, 6, or 9 months because you just don't want to fucking deal with the fact that it's not always going to be easy? We could sit there and die on that hill. Oh, the market shifts. I'm going out of business. Fuck it. I'm going to quit. Or you could find a solution. And that's what we need to do in any market, whether it's a broker's market, a carrier's market, a shipper's market. It doesn't matter. The market is going to operate the way it does. We as service providers need to find a solution. All right. That's what we need to do. So if you're out there right now and your customer's coming back to you for a rebid, fucking deal with it and make it work. Somebody's going to do it. I can guarantee you that. Because if you guys are going to let freight go to somebody else, there's a lot of brokers out there who are just like me, or they're fucking waiting for you guys to run to the hills. Long-term play. All right. That's what you have to look at this from. When I was a sales rep, I was very transactionally mindset at times. Okay. I thought oh, how do I make as much money today? But that doesn't solve for the next 12 months. All right. Resetting your book of business that doesn't help anything. So you got to look at it like this. What can you do? What can you control? All right. If you're a broker in this market, Regardless, what can you control? Capacity, right? Having capacity. That's your one value add to this all, because your technology does nothing if trucks don't show up, right? Control what you can control. If you're a trucking company out there right now, what can you do? That, maybe it is limiting the speed on your truck. Maybe that's going to lead to some reducing of some wear and tear. And if you're a mechanic out there listening to this, I'd love to have you come on here and talk about this. Again, I want to put solutions out there for people. We got to find a way to make this shit work, you guys. Every time, if you pay attention to certain things in life, you'll fucking go crawl into a hole. Business is hard. All right. Life is hard. This is all part of it. Find a solution, though. All right. I'll get back out there onto some of these questions. Sorry, that was a little bit of a mini rant, but you know what, guys? I want to see people stay in business. I want people to accept the fact that shit happens. Okay. But you got to find a solution, because if you don't find a solution, motherfuckers will, and they will eat your lunch. All right. Tell me when the trucks go down, they're down for weeks at a time. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, being a thing. I've definitely heard that, but again, I can't speak from a factual standpoint on that, man. I apologize, but I just don't have the answer for it. Pre-trip, not pre-trial. Jesus, Jeremy. Let's see, Sunny Teal. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. Probably industry. Yeah, if you only want to do this when the work is easy, it's probably not the industry for you. Amen, Teal. Amen, brother. Scott, preach, my man. Okay, so third and final article. I know we got a couple, and this is also from Fleet Owner as well. It's how to reduce the symptoms of driver turnover. And again, I think what my friend Matt Laird posted out there this morning, and what Adam Wingfield and I touched on Tuesday's show as well, about where we need to start on that. I think it's very fucking apparent. None of us would use a bucket to go to the bathroom in. Let's see. Poor fleet performance, such as out of service during roadside inspection. Hey, there we go, man. Talking about poor fleet performance. Roadside inspections. The more the consistent the driver pool, the better the performance over time, are some of those indicators from, let's see, Tom McCollum. Excuse me if I pronounced your name wrong there. From an insurance perspective, a consistent driver pool is a telling fleet performance indicator from determines and how underwriters approach carriers. I mean, that's good to know, I think, out there. Again, your driver retention and turnover, if that affects your insurance rates, according to this article, it's something to look into. What little bit more can we do out there? It's not uncommon for us to visit one of our policyholders, and there will be 2 or 3 idle power units out of 10. That's revenue that the business is not making. Exactly. That's another thing to look at right now, is how can we keep these trucks on the road? Let's see. HR, recruit to retain. This is what I wanted to talk about here in this one. It provides access to commercial drivers' 5-year crash and 3-year inspection history. The PSP is a pre-employment screening program. According to the IAT, trucking companies use that to screen job applicants that have been documented to lower their crash rate an average of 8%, and driver out of service by 17%. For mid-sized carriers, the crash rate decreases even more significantly, 20.6% for carriers with 6 to 20 drivers and 12.1% for carriers with 21 to 100 drivers. Carriers get into trouble when they feel the pressure of having to put a driver into a seat that they don't have an effective job screening. Yeah, and that's something that some of my friends on the trucking side and I have spoken about, is it is the emphasis on retaining, or recruiting to retain, as opposed to recruiting to seat out there. Yeah, it's it's a good article. And again, I think that it's all about education right now. It goes into some other strategies that people can utilize, talking about accidents and everything, but it also emphasizes on the fact that this doesn't eliminate the thing, but it can significantly reduce it. It's also, they do say in here, driver retention isn't all about pay. I don't know how many actual drivers they talk to about that, but driver pay and safe and secure truck parking have been the top 2 issues, followed by a close third of not being able to utilize facilities, restrooms, and everything else out there. Again, I think that these are issues. You can find that article as well as the other one at fleetowner.com. This one was for how to reduce the symptoms of driver turnover. Again, to kind of wrap it all up here, I think that these are issues that we just can't let go away. These are fundamental issues in our industry that if we want to progress, if we want to attract and retain, we got to work on it. And it's going to take a collective effort. That's what it's all going to boil down to. I think that, again, this is the greatest industry on earth. All right. We are the backbone of the US economy and over the world, in my opinion. And we got some shit that comes up, but we got to find solutions for it. That's just like with anything in life and business and whatever you want to do. You got to find solutions. All right. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what life throws at you, because life is going to punch you in the fucking face a bunch, you got to find a solution because the solution is out there. But if you want to find a reason to quit, there's a fucking million of them. But there are solutions out there for any problem you're in. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I got a special guest coming on tomorrow. We're going to have fun. We're going to break down 3 more articles every single weekday morning. The Freight Coach Morning Show comes to you live from Phoenix, Arizona at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. Shout out to my friends over at Bitfreighter, you guys. Check them out for all of your EDI needs. They're longtime supporters of the show, as well as my friends over at VHub. You guys, asset reutilization is the wave of the future in freight. All right? Brokers and carriers alike, look into it. They have assets for you guys to utilize in your operations. Visit vhubapp.com. Connect with my friend Xavier Campos at VHub. He's my guy over there. I appreciate you guys all so much. Thank you guys so much for your support and coming back day in and day out for all of this stuff. Thank you guys, and we'll be in touch tomorrow morning. Mark your calendars. I love you guys, and we'll see you.